Hey everyone, it's your girl Layla. Welcome back to my channel. Okay, you guys, so it is another year of Spooktober. I cannot believe it. I think I've been doing this series on my channel since 2018. So we're in year 5 of doing this on my channel. So I am very excited to welcome you to another year, another season of Spooktober. And as you guys know, I am born in October. October is my favorite month for fall, for spooky season, for warm days and cold nights. Fall is one of my favorite seasons. So without further ado, let's get right into this video. If you guys are not already subscribed, please go ahead, click that subscribe button below. I upload 3 times a week, Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday. And if you guys are new to my channel, I do this on my channel every year. I go into, different local haunted places. I like to explore my province, explore my country, and just go to these really amazing places that are haunted and film them for you guys. So if you're unfamiliar with Spooktober, I do it every October. Every Wednesday in October, you are getting a spooky video. Today's video consists of multiple pages of research and writing. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8 pages of notes on this hotel. Hint, hint, that is what we're going to be talking about in today's video. We are going to be talking about the Prince of Wales Hotel in Waterton, Alberta. This is probably the most exciting video in this whole series for this year. I'm not even going to lie, I started off with a bang. This isn't going to be the only hotel that's going to be in this year's Spooktober episodes. The other one is actually in Ottawa, and it was footage that I filmed last year when I was on vacation there. But this is the most recent haunted place that I've been to, and I'm really excited to talk about it. So Waterton Lakes, if you've never been there, never heard of it, it is located basically on the border of Alberta, Canada, and Montana, United States. So it's right on the border. It borders with Glacier National Park on the US side and Waterton Lakes National Park on the Canadian side. So this is a beautiful mountain paradise. It is a 3-hour drive from Calgary. It is so interesting because when you're on the number 6 highway, you're going into Pincher Creek, you're going through tons of farmland and prairie land, and all of a sudden you go over a hill and you're in the mountains. So this is a really special place, a really beautiful, beautiful town. There's something that I want to note about Waterton before I get into the video. Waterton is still recovering from the Kenau wildfire back in 2017 that burned 19,000 hectares of land, and you can definitely see this on the drive through different parts of Waterton and different hikes that you can do. Crypt Lake is the most famous hike in the area, and thankfully that side of the lake was spared by the wildfire, but this area was completely devastated back in 2017. On a high windswept hill right across from a very popular hiking trail called Bears Hump lies a very, very beautiful chalet style hotel called the Prince of Wales. It overlooks the banks of Waterton Lake, and it is definitely a sight to see. In the peak season months, this hotel is busy. There's a lot of tourists, a lot of guests, a lot of people that just go to Waterton to photograph the hotel, which I'm not gonna lie, I have done that in the past. I didn't used to be into hiking at all, and I came here with my parents when I was, I don't know, like in my late teens, and we went there to photograph the hotel. In the fall, this building is completely abandoned as most of Waterton closes for the winter. It is boarded up and shut down for the season. But definitely has its creepy factor in the winter months when it's abandoned, but in the summertime, you would not even realize that this was a thing. The Prince of Wales Hotel was built in 1926 to 1927, and it is the last of its kind on Canadian soil. This is the last Grand Railway Hotel. It was actually owned by Lewis W. Hill, who was the president of the Great Northern Railway. Now, at this period of time, alcohol was actually illegal in the United States. Did you guys know that? That's a really cool little tidbit of information. Americans would actually travel into Canada because it was legal here to drink. It wasn't legal in all communities, but Alberta went through a whole liquor prohibition and alcohol was legal here in Waterton, being the border town between the US and Canada. A lot of Americans would travel here to, you know, take part in drinking their favorite drinks. So this hotel was actually built for the purpose of liquor tourism. I can't believe such thing existed, but it did. And the president of the railway company would have people come in on the rail. So he was making a lot of money and getting a lot of business. So people would travel in from the US on his railway line and stay at his hotel and drink and have fun and be merry. So the hotel itself was actually named by a very short reigning king at the time by the name of King Edward. The hotel was named after him because he was going on a royal tour of Canada during that time and they were trying to entice him to stay at this hotel. I just want to say, why not? The views here in Waterton are second to none. They are mountain views that, you know, definitely rival things like Banff and Lake Louise. They are absolutely stunning. So I don't know why he wouldn't want to stay here. So just like the history of many hotels, just like this one, there is tragedy. There's a lot of history dating back multiple decades from people that used to work here, people that used to stay here, and otherwise. So let's talk about the ghosts that haunt the Prince of Wales Hotel in Waterton. So one of the ghosts was actually an unfaithful wife to one of the chefs that used to work at the hotel. They actually used to live in the hotel, which was very common because this area is very secluded. It's very far away from other towns unless you're going to like Pincher Creek or something like that. But the chef lived in the hotel with his wife, and one night they both disappeared without notice, without telling anyone they were going anywhere, anything like that. They disappeared into what seemed like thin air. And the chef actually reappeared again. Not in Waterton though, he actually reappeared somewhere in British Columbia, Canada, which is the province over from Alberta, by himself without his wife. So it is said that he murdered her that night. He concealed her body quite well because she was never found. It's said that her ghost remains at the hotel to this date, and she can be seen, well, she can't actually be seen, but so guests that stay in the room that her and her husband used to live in actually report being tucked in at night by invisible hands. So it is said to be her ghost. If that doesn't, I mean, that gave me shivers when I read this. Think of invisible hands pulling a blanket over you at night. At least she was a nice ghost. Okay, this is something that is very similar and very reminiscent of something that would happen at the Dean House in Calgary, but there is definitely an unexplainable odor of tobacco that can sometimes be smelled throughout the Royal Stuart dining room. And the Royal Stuart dining room is where I visited the hotel when I went there, so I'll get into that later in the video. But there can be an unexplained tobacco scent. It is said to be of a top hat wearing ghost that haunts the Royal Stuart dining room as well as the basement. He appears as a reflection in mirrors as well as windows. Some people report him to be a construction worker that died falling off scaffolding when they were building the hotel between 1926 and 1927. But his ghost actually looks like one of the hotel managers in its early days. Captain Rawdon S. Harrison was his name. He was the pipe smoking manager back around the time that the hotel first opened, and he was very, very passionate about his work. He even had his colleagues pick wildflowers from outside the hotel to display in the Royal Stuart dining room. Sounds like this manager was really attached to his job and really enjoyed working there. So it's not surprising that his ghost still haunts this hotel today. This is a very common theme as well. I've talked about this in the Banff Springs hotel video. If you guys have watched that from earlier episodes of Spooktober, I will link my Spooktober playlist actually in the description box if you guys want to check it out. But there's actually a bellman that haunts that hotel. So you can definitely be so attached to your job that you just want to stay there even after you die. I can't relate. Another ghost is said to haunt the lobby, and multiple guests have heard footprints, really heavy footprints that wander around in the middle of the night. Now, a previous hotel employee actually posted on an online forum that he snuck into the hotel during its off season when it was supposed to be boarded up. He snuck in and disturbed the presence in the lobby, so he actually chased him out of the hotel. Well, not really chased him out, but you could hear his footsteps running from the 5th or 6th floor toward him. So that definitely chased him away. So one of the most famous ghosts that stays at the Prince of Wales Hotel is the Lady in White. And I feel like a lot of hotels have a Lady in White ghost. Again, very reminiscent to the Banff Springs Hotel video and the lady in her wedding dress that fell down the stairs. This reminded me of her when I was reading Sarah's story. So it said that her name is Sarah, and she haunts very specific rooms. I'm not sure why, but she haunts rooms 510 and 516. So she likes doing things in the middle of the night, like locking unlocked windows, tapping on the door, turning on the faucet, and blowing her icy breath down hotel guests' neck during the night. Yeah, I don't know how I would feel about that, but I would probably try to stay there just to experience it, even though it sounds absolutely terrifying. Guests actually report her footsteps outside their room and also outside on the balcony. Other guests have been locked out of their rooms only to find out that the room has been locked from the inside. One of the guests that stayed in room 516 actually reported this ghost coming into bed with him and his wife one night, only to disappear when he opened his eyes. They say that Sarah was a chambermaid that worked in the hotel, not for very long, but around the time it first opened in 1927. She actually fell in love with one of her colleagues and he rejected her. So she was so heartbroken that she threw herself off a 4th floor balcony and died. So this hotel is no stranger to deaths and suicides, like a worker dying in a car accident, but that's not always something that's uncommon in workplaces that have a lot of employees, like hotels. But there was another suicide that took place here back in 1977 that changed the hotel and how the colleagues viewed working at the hotel. So this is very similar, very eerily similar to Sarah's story. So back in 1977, there was a seasonal worker that came in from Dorval, Quebec named Lorraine, and she was a 20-year-old seasonal worker that worked in the gift shop, and she fell in love with the hotel's manager at the time. He was already in a relationship and couldn't return feelings to Lorraine, so one day she stripped naked, ran around the hotel a few times, and jumped off a 6th floor balcony. Her body was found on the flagstone patio that overlooks Waterton Lake. This brought on really bad feelings, as you can imagine, to the employees of the hotel. So people have varying theories of the woman in white. They're sometimes saying that it's Lorraine, but more likely it is the chambermaid from 1927 named Sarah. So that is all the ghost stories I have today. I found an amazing website, which I will link down below if you guys want to read more in depth of the ghosts that haunt the Waterton Prince of Wales Hotel. I will leave that in the description box below. So my experience going to the Prince of Wales Hotel was actually pretty pleasant. I went there not as a hotel guest, even though I would have loved to stay there for one night and just had the overall experience. That might be something that I decide to do in the future, but as you guys know, I'm a very outdoorsy person. I love hiking and camping, and I came to Waterton over September long weekend, one of their last weeks to be opened, and I stayed at a campsite nearby. So I was able to do some hikes in the area as well as have breakfast on my very last day. I finally was able to go to the Prince of Wales Hotel. I was trying to go there actually the day before, and I wasn't even gonna go inside or anything. I don't know, I was gonna try to go inside, but it's kind of weird when you're not either staying there or you know, having dinner or something there. I thought it would just be weird to walk into the hotel and start recording and filming and taking photos and stuff like that. I guess it's not super weird since this is a national landmark. It is a beautiful, beautiful piece of architecture from back then. So I tried to go the day before, tried to get some sunset photos there, but the parking lot was full and no one was allowed to come in. It was a long weekend and everybody was there taking photos of the hotel and of the lake as well, because there is a really beautiful viewpoint up there. So I decided that we would come back the next day and have breakfast there. Like I said, I got to see the Royal Store Dining Hall. I got to actually go into the hotel, experience it from the inside and seeing how it looks. It was just an amazing experience. I also got to see it from the viewpoint at Bears Hump. So if you do the hike that I was mentioning that's across the street from the hotel, they have their own parking lot and everything like that. So please don't take up the hotel parking because it's very scarce at best. So you can actually climb up to Bears Hump, which takes about maybe an hour, maybe a little bit less than an hour. It's a very, very short hike, short and steep, and there's a lot of tourists that do it, so you'll be fine. But you can actually view this hotel from up there and it is stunning. So I had so much fun doing my first episode of Spooktober for 2023. I hope you guys enjoyed this as well, and stay tuned for some clips that I took in the hotel. As per usual, I do have a little tour, so I'll include that right now. So I do hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you are not already subscribed, please go ahead, click that subscribe button below. I upload 3 times a week, Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday, and all of my Wednesday videos in the month of October are gonna be spooky. So I'll see you guys soon in my next one. Bye!